In our politics lead, do voters have the right to know more about the health of Republican Senator Mitch McConnell of Kentucky? He has been in the hospital for 3 weeks, his office says. Neither he nor his team are explaining exactly why he's there. The 84-year-old has faced a series of health issues in recent years, including suffering from a concussion and broken ribs after falling in March 2023. Also that year, he froze mid-sentence during 2 separate news conferences.
This week has been good bipartisan cooperation and a string of
Are you good?
Running for re-election in 2026.
that's
Did you hear the question, Senator? Running for re-election in 2026?
I want to bring in someone who says he recently spoke with Senator McConnell, former senior advisor to him, Scott Jennings. Scott, thanks so much for joining us. So you said McConnell called you on Tuesday. You said that you two spoke for about 17 minutes on a wide range of topics. You said his voice sounded strong. He seemed to be keeping up with the news. Can you tell me why he hasn't been more transparent with his constituents about what's going on, what's wrong with him, when he'll be back to work, and why he hasn't released a video of him talking to his constituents?
Yeah, I did talk to him Tuesday, and the answer is no. I can't tell you why. I could speculate, which is that he's always been pretty guarded about his own health issues, whether that has to do with some of the videos you showed just a moment ago, or anything really throughout the course of his life. And so that's just been his general disposition. A lot of politicians handle it differently, but that's how he's chosen to handle it. My personal view is that they do need to actually have a little more transparency with the people of Kentucky. I counseled him and his team as such. Frankly, I'm a voter in Kentucky and have been friends with Mitch McConnell since I was a teenager. So it pains me when I think he's hurting. But I do think when you're in a position of public life like he is, some information is a good thing, and that hasn't been out there. My belief is I think the Senate goes back in on Monday. I'd be shocked if they didn't put out an update on him by Monday about whether he's going to be able to go back to the Senate next week. And I should say, I don't know whether he is or he isn't. And I'm not sure whether he's made that decision or not.
Have you spoken with him since Tuesday?
I have not. I have been in touch with the staff. In fact, I was speaking with some of his senior staff today. And I know he was actually meeting with some of his staff late this afternoon about a few issues going on over at the Senate. And truthfully, it sounded to me like somebody who was preparing at some point to go back to work. Now, whether that means go back to work soon or go back to work eventually, I don't know. But I do know he was meeting with his staff today and getting some briefings on a few issues.
Yesterday, the governor of Kentucky, Andy Beshear, sent a letter to McConnell's office asking him to fully update Kentuckians about his health. He wrote, quote, "As public office holders, we have made a commitment to our constituents to do our best to represent them and to always be transparent. I believe this requires clear communication about one's ability to serve," unquote. McConnell's already missed some pretty high-profile votes on housing affordability, Iran war powers. Do you think he's going to be able to finish out his term, which ends in a few months, ends in January?
Well, based on what I know today, the answer is yes. And as you pointed out, his term is coming to an end. His career is coming to an end. He's not running for re-election this year, and he's got just a few months left in the Senate. And based on our conversation the other day, I know he's got a few votes and some issues regarding national defense coming up that he's quite interested in. So based on what I know today, yeah, I have every reason to believe he's going to finish out his term and intends to go back to work at some point. Now, I don't know that the decision's been made on when that's going to be, but yeah, I would expect him to go back. And there are also some things he's going to do at the end of his career, I think, here that denote his time as Senate Majority Leader. I know, for instance, there's a portrait that they'll eventually hang in the Capitol and some other, sort of ceremonial type things, which I know he's been quite interested in. So, yeah, I think he's going to finish his term. And I think, frankly, Jake, all the speculation about him, being dead or being a vegetable or being an organ failure, all that's that's not true. I mean, I've spoken with him, and I've spoken to people who have been meeting with him over the last few days. So I think all that speculation could be put to rest. But I think it's up to them to tell the people of Kentucky when he's going back to work. I hope they do that by Monday, and I believe that they will.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with you on the wild speculation, but that stuff tends to thrive when there isn't transparency about.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
I agree with you. Yeah.
Scott Jennings, thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Yes.